Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Wednesday, January 29th, 2025, about 6:30 in the morning. And yesterday morning, I shot a video where I talked about some phone calls that I've gotten, and I got a couple updates from those, and I've also got 3 emails that came in overnight that I thought you might be interested. I'd like to share with you. So the first one, my first story yesterday was about a phone call I got from a guy up in Minnesota, and so he sent me a pretty lengthy text last night. I went ahead and copied it over, sent it to myself as an email, and I'm going to read that to you. And I'm probably going to skip over part of it because it's kind of lengthy. But let me see if I can bring that to you here. It says, I apologize for being so late with the update. I did take a break before we got into the thick, I guess, maybe, I don't know, the thick of his job, I guess. And I apologized. Oh, maybe that's part of the thickest part of the vegetation or something. I'm not sure what he meant there. And I apologized for even being there, and I told them what I was doing and apologized some more and why. The hate feeling went away, and an owl flew down onto a branch and then another one, and that was it. And this was around 4:30. We got done, went back to the shop and parked all the trucks and went to a friend's nearby in northern Minnesota, and their property is 10 acres next to a cemetery, then 40 acres, lots of nothing but farms and woods. We're visiting my friend, and she's going through chemo, and her husband started dinner. And I said my goodbyes and huge hugs, and as her husband and I walked out the front door, the house was surrounded by owls hooting. He went back in. I hopped in my car and began to ramble. I know it's you. I apologize. I'm not good talking with you sometimes. And please don't be frustrated with me. Don't give up on me, but I have to leave now. Wait a minute, I lost where I was at. Oh, there we go. And that was that. Today I was very frustrated with the DMV, I guess that's the Department of Motor Vehicles, and stuff going on in my life, and just found out my cousin just passed, and she was expecting. So I grabbed a geode and a red amethyst, and I put it in the geode, and concentrated my feelings about how bad I felt for yesterday and how I loved their home and how I wanted to respect their home and know they were around. I walked for about 45 minutes one way, head down, trying to be grateful and not pan my surroundings because I left my phone and everything at the car a long ways away where nobody would be even to look for me. I was nervous. Talking most of the way, I came to a hollowed out tree, and it just felt right to leave my rock offering there, and said this place is so beautiful I wouldn't want to share it with idiots like me either, and said not all of us deserve it, but I was grateful we were able to enjoy it. Well, the few that do. I thanked them and said I'm going to head back now, and halfway back I was being paralleled, and then it was like the nervousness just vanished. Got back to the car, and all I got was thank you. And again I said thank you. And boom, an owl hoot, then another one, and that was that. So that was pretty interesting follow-up to the story I told yesterday about the putting gravel on the road. So then I got the second one that I read. Maybe I'm getting mixed up on my days, but I talked about this I think was a couple videos ago. I talked about a lady who lives in Apache Junction, Arizona, and how good morning. I have to talk a little loud because of to make sure it goes in on the microphone. My wife just came down, and so she's waving to me while I'm videoing this. Anyway, I talked about a lady from Apache Junction who had contact with a Sasquatch named Seth. And so she sent me an email as well, and she said, thanks for sharing my experience with your YouTube followers. I intended to go see if I could talk to Seth again this past Sunday, but I wasn't able to. Oddly, all evening I kept getting a feeling and a message that I was expected, and why wasn't I there? Seth's messages come across very quiet and gentle, like a whisper. Do you find that to be common? Yes, I do. Sometimes it's very subtle and it's very hard to pick up on it. I got the number 93 several times when I asked how many were in his community during the conversation on Sunday. When you had contact with the group out there, do you remember anything about their numbers or other names of beings in this group? No, we didn't get that much. We basically, all we got, there was quite a number of us there, maybe too many. And but basically all we really got was that they were there. I mentioned your name, but I believe the conversation was over from their end because I couldn't sense them anymore. I watched your talk on A Touch of Beauty. That's the A Flash of Beauty, Bigfoot Revealed YouTube channel that she's speaking of. And it was so real and truthful. I enjoyed it and learned a great deal from it. Thank you. We actually have more in common in regards to the paranormal encounters. All the women in my family have the ability to contact spirits, and they contact us as well. I lived in a remote island in Alaska, and it was extremely haunted. I was a medical provider and the island coroner. It's pretty amazing. I would love to share my most extraordinary encounter someday. I would love that as well. I owned a haunted Victorian house in Indiana that was the town's first funeral home. I did not know the house's history until after I moved in and the neighbors filled me in. But I knew it was filled with spirits when I first walked through it. That house picked me. I had a large number of very interesting ghosts, all of whom were never threatening. Anyway, thanks for listening and being so helpful. I hope to get up to Payson to talk to you in person someday when you have the time. Peace out. You know, I'll be willing to meet with you and we'll have lunch someday. It's not that far. So just let me know. I would love to sit down and speak with you someday. Okay, the next one I want to read to you is this was a lady that just sent me an email this morning. And she said, you have not helped me directly, but you have definitely helped my family indirectly. Last night, my dear and sweet husband was working at his job, but in a lot of back pain from a past auto accident. I often try to meditate and send him healing energy. God knows he needs all the help anyone can offer. About 10 minutes into a deep meditation, something occurred for the first time. My eyes were closed, but I could clearly see a face in front of my face about 6 inches away, a forest person. Their head was tilted about 45 degrees with bright eyes that had a smile to them, kind and gentle. Nothing was heard physically or mentally, but in my gut I knew that there was help being offered. I understood, thanks to you, to not be startled or scared, just be thankful. I said out loud, thank you. When my dear husband got home, he felt better and did not need a massage or a pain cream rub down. A remarkable change from most mornings. I know who to thank. You for guidance and a forest helper. I did forget to ask a name, but I will remember that sweet look in their eyes and that warm feeling forever. Mr. Chuck, you touch more people than you can ever imagine. Thank you for your unknowing help. That was pretty cool, and I appreciate that. I didn't say your name, but you know who you are when you watch this. The next one is actually from a guy from Virginia. And he sent this as kind of a shotgun email to his friends, but he also included me in it. So I thought I'd read it, and I'll omit some stuff here for his privacy. He said, you guys will really like this channel. And he was speaking of the A Flash of Beauty Bigfoot Revealed YouTube channel. Watch this episode with Tim Baker. Excellent stuff. I have not even watched that yet. It's an hour and 45 minutes, and I haven't set aside the time to do it, but I plan to. Mind-blowing and cool. I also have Chuck Jacobs copied in on this to let him know the word is getting out far and wide. He was kind enough to respond to me and gave us a name for the juvenile that the mail carrier captured in Ferrystone Wildlife Management Area at Blank's place. Blank is on this emailing as well. That name that I got for that juvenile in the picture that I can't share with you was, his name was Sebastian. And he's, I believe he was 6 or 8 years old, something like that. I talked about it before. The discussion on one episode was called A Flash of Beauty Paranormal, which discussed orbs and how they use them. Blank has this occurring at his place as well, and we see the orbs quite frequently, virtually no matter where we go. The little tiny ones, we call them twinkle lights. I attach a link to my game cam capture of an orb that I believe is the ancient ones on Recon. Notice how the forest is lit up so well from the glow. I learned from Chuck. No lights, no guns, no cameras. I have taken the games cam down at Ferrystone out of respect to the resident Sasquatches. When I pick up trash along the highway, I show them my hands so they see I am not armed. I think they like that. I have been left a toy of a turtle for my efforts and a tennis ball lobbed at me that rolled up to my feet. They are all about intent in my view. As a note, I noticed that this area is right on a major ley line grid connecting around the world. I won't get into that, but that explains a lot to me. Chuck has the most interesting channel with much testimony on what is really going on out there in the ether. He alerted me to the Tim Baker interview, and we are so lucky to have these warriors of truth out there. Note, Chuck, feel free to share the orb video if you like. It mirrors discussions I am seeing on Flash of Beauty series on YouTube. If you get out this way, there's some cool stuff I can show you here in the woods. Don't be a stranger, brother. Keep up the good work, all. We are the Sentinel Alliance. Best regards, and regards to Sasquatch and his family at Ferrystone. Well, this is from Ferrystone is a wildlife management area in southern Virginia, and this gentleman's from Virginia. So that's the third one. Now the fourth one. Now the fifth one is pretty amazing, and it's actually from a guy in Norway, and he reached out to me and asked me for my email address, and he has some questions, and I'll try to answer his questions. Say, dear Mr. Jacob, thank you so much for your reply and for providing me with your email address. I watch all your videos on your YouTube channel. I am very interested about the forest people. I have read and watched books and movies about the forest people, but yours are more fascinating for me since you have the option to communicate with them. I live in Norway with my wife and my son, who is 5 years old. Both me and my wife are from Iran, and for my parents as well. I came here to Norway with my parents when I was 4 years old. We ran away from the Iran-Iraq War in 1989, and my dad got granted permit to enter Norway. My father was himself a soldier during the war. He was only 18 years old when he enlisted himself in the Army. This was in 1983, a year before I was born. The things he experienced on the front were unimaginable. Saddam Hussein's desire and plan was to take over Iran and its oil within 2 weeks. But as you know and remember, that never happened. The Iranian army and its resistance prevented this, yet it took many lives on both fronts. My father himself was stationed in, this is a city apparently, in the south of Iran near the Persian Gulf. My dad survived the war. After serving in the military, he's now a war veteran. That's a little bit about me and my family. I would like to ask a few questions about the forest people, which I hope you will answer. 1. Are the forest people related to the Yeti, or is the Yeti yet another clan? If so, do the forest people and the Yetis know about each other, and are they friends or rivals? I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe that the Yeti is just another name for the forest people. They, like humans, they have different races that look slightly different, and they're all over the world. I can't absolutely say for sure, but it's my opinion or hypothesis that the Yeti and the forest people are the same. Number 2, when mind speaking with the forest people, would you mind to ask them if they exist here in Norway? Well, I don't even have to ask them that. They're worldwide, and they do exist up in your area. I've had some people contact me from Finland and Sweden, and I'm sure that they're there. Now, our human people have lived in that area for a long time, and maybe the Sasquatch folks that live in the Norway area, maybe they feel somewhat, I don't know how to say it, disenfranchised because the humans have been there for so long. But I'm sure they're there. It might take a little bit to get them to open up to you, but I'm sure they're there. Number 3, can I communicate with them as well? And the answer is, I don't know. We asked them one time why some humans can communicate with them and some can't. And what they told us was that we talk to everyone, not everyone can hear. What I'd suggest to you is to try, and one of the most important things to do, and you've probably seen me talk about it in my videos, and that is to learn how to clear your mind, maybe through meditation. And we have so much stuff going in our heads all the time that we could practically have somebody come up behind us and honk a car horn at us and we wouldn't see it because we're so busy doing what we're doing. And so the key to learning and learning whether they can speak to you or not and hearing it is being able to clear your mind enough to actually hear them, because it's pretty subtle and it's not real loud. Now sometimes they will shout at you, but for the most part they don't. It's kind of more like a whisper, and it takes quite a while to be able to become accustomed to that when you can hear that, and I'm a living example of that, and I'm still not real good at it. Number 4, are the forest people aware of the creature called Dogman, and have they encountered this mythical beast? Well, first of all, Dogman is not a mythical beast. Dogmen are real. They are another species, I guess. There are some people that'll tell you on YouTube and other places that the Sasquatch and the Dogmen are mortal enemies, and I don't believe that's true. I think maybe in some places they don't care for each other. Maybe in some places they are enemies, but in other places they exist side by side. And I'm aware of some instances where they're actually friends and they actually live together. I have a lady that I deal with in New York State who actually has contact with a family group that lives near her area, and she talks about a Dogman couple with a child and the Sasquatch folks, and they basically live pretty much together. And the one Dogman male and the Sasquatch male have been friends since childhood, she was told. And so they're not mortal enemies. They do exist. They're probably a different species, kind of. I don't know, maybe, in our species we have quite a number of races, and our people of different races look vastly different than some of the rest of us. Skin color and build and everything else. And I think probably these Sasquatch folks are the same way. And he ends by saying, I hope that you will take your time to answer my questions. I'm so eager to learn more about the forest people. Yours sincerely. Well, folks, that's 5 messages that I just got overnight. And as I like to say, the crazy train just keeps on rolling and things keep happening. And I know that some of you folks like this kind of stuff, and I enjoy it as well. And so keep the emails coming, and I'll try to share them with my viewers. And I enjoy receiving and enjoy either one of them. And I'm going to close with just one more. And this is actually a comment that I got this morning. And I think the name is the same as the lady that talked about her husband's back pain. And so I think it might be the same lady. And if it is, my dear, I appreciate this. I need to go find this. And this is one final one. And this is a comment that I got on my last video. And this is Sir, please thank your wife for sharing you. I realize that you give many hours of your day to help total strangers. She is appreciated for sharing also. Blessed wishes. So I'm going to close this video with that one. And so as I always tell you, take care of each other, love each other, and thank the Lord for the life He's given you. And I'll be back with you later with some more, but for right now, let me just tell you, peace out.